Hello, everyone, and welcome to the next episode of The Next Perfect Step, where today, in this episode, we get to talk with a sound healer. And I am very excited to have this guest, Gary, on today. I feel like recently, sound healing has always been very needed, especially to an individual level. But right now, I seem like it's coming from everywhere. We're talking about it more. I see more videos showing up. It's just really, really needed right now. So I am super excited to have our guest on today to go more in depth about the sound healing. So Lori, I'm going to have you introduce Gary.
Yeah, I'm very excited to have a good friend and sound healer, Gary Simons, who is a retired clinical pharmacist, and now he is devoting himself to healing. He's a Reiki master and a Reiki master teacher, and he's devoting himself to healing through sound and intuitive healing. And I've had the benefit of sessions, group sessions with Gary, and he's just amazing. I love what comes through is very intuitive for Gary and very beneficial to all of us that get to receive. So welcome, Gary. So nice to have you on with us. And we just want to ask if you could just let us know a little bit about how you got to be from a clinical pharmacist to a sound healer and what you enjoy about it, and a little bit about your experiences in sound healing.
Oh, well, thank you very much, Lori. And Lori, this is an honor and a privilege to be here. And thank you for allowing me to be part of your podcast and be part of this wonderful group of people that you've interviewed in the past. My journey is long and complicated. I mean, it could go back to a long time ago, but for the purpose of this here, I want to say that sound to me has found its way into my journey in a way that's been pretty profound. I've been working with energy and been in a mindful way since going way back to high school and college years. And when I first heard, and it would have been about 7 years ago, when I first heard a sound bowl, crystal singing sound bowl, I tell people that it was like being in a foreign country where nobody spoke your native tongue, and then all of a sudden you heard your native tongue being spoken. And that's what it was like to me the first time I heard a crystal singing bowl. And from that point on, I made it a part of my life to first pursue getting a bowl. There was no bowls around here. I actually was visiting my kids out in Utah and around Salt Lake City. And I went into a shop out there and bought my first sound bowl. After that, bowls just seemed to be coming in, and I became kind of the rescuer of bowls. They would come and kind of like people do with animals and, you know, like cats and dogs. I became the bowl rescuer. Bowls seemed to be coming in from all different places and finding their home with me. And so now when I do a sound session, typically when I do a sound session, I have about 13 crystal singing bowls that I use. I have another half dozen bowls that I incorporate in and out as need be. But when I do a sound session, I use about 13 crystal singing bowls along with 4 or 5 Tibetan brass Tibetan bowls. And that is what I use for my sessions. So after I had, say, 3 bowls, my Reiki teacher, master teacher that I had at the time, I asked her if she would listen to what I what I was experiencing for myself. I was playing it for myself for a short time, and I played them for her. And her response to me said it was very profound, that it was something that I could not keep to myself, that I had to share it, that I had to give other people the opportunity to feel the vibrations and to hear what was coming through me, through the bowls. I remove myself every time I do a session. I remove myself from the equation. I become the hollow bone. I become the conduit for which the energy flows through and then goes through the bowls. So upon her hearing what came through and feeling what came through, she said I couldn't keep it to myself. And at that point, this was 4 years before I retired as a pharmacist. Here I am, a clinical pharmacist, a person who had been in pharmacy for almost 40 years at that time, and had been a director of pharmacy for over 20 years in a hospital pharmacy setting. And, to start all of a sudden talking to people about, sound therapy and crystal singing bowls and things of that nature, it just was a total contradiction of what I was living. And yet my true authentic self was through sound, was through energy, was through all the other things that is considered part of integrative medicine, for lack of a better term. And so anyways, I started pursuing this as something that I wanted to help people with. I had spent a good part of my life helping people after they got very, very sick and ended up in the hospital. And I wanted to spend the rest of my life doing something that was authentic, and that was to keep people from becoming sick. As we all know, 85% of all illnesses, all diseases, all symptoms are stress related. And the one thing that I knew that I could do with the bowls is to decrease and help alleviate stress in people's life by just having them around those vibrations. So that's what I have been doing. And the universe, also I want to add, at that time, there might have been a couple of people around here. When I say around here, like northern New Hampshire, over in Maine, maybe, that once I started doing it, I found out that, there is this person up in Berlin, New Hampshire, and there's this person over in Maine that is working with crystal singing bowls. But there was nobody that I knew of around here. If you went to Sedona, or if you went to a place like Joshua Tree, energy centers around the country, or in other countries, to Bali, then it was commonplace. But around here, it was pretty unique. So I set out in trying to help people, first individually, then in small sessions. I had a studio in my house. I have a studio in my house, a small studio. So I'd have groups of 4 or 5 people once a week that would come, and I would do sound sessions for them, and helping individuals with dealing with trauma and different physical things. And what I found was, being from a realm of medical community where evidence-based medicine is the answer to everything. If it isn't evidence-based, then it doesn't exist in the medical realm. But what I found very quickly is the anecdotal. In other words, those things that you see that aren't evidence-based. There's no study with 1,000 people, with enough paperwork to fill up a tractor trailer truck. There's no study to show that. But what you see on an anecdotal proof basis, that, this person got better, or this symptom alleviated, or this is an improvement over a condition they had, based on only from what is coming through the vibrations of the bowls and some counseling possibly. What I saw through the anecdotal thing could not be ignored. when I do a sound session and somebody at the end of the sound session said, my shoulder pain is gone, or that back pain that I came in with that was on a scale of 1 to 10, a 12 is now non-existent. What does that say? What does that show? And to me, that showed that there's something here. There's something here more than science at this time can explain. So, anyways, that was a long answer to a very short question.
That's amazing. Yeah.
Um,
Sound has had a long history too, through indigenous cultures, and they use sound for healing for thousands and thousands of years. And Egypt has the sound healing rooms and deep in the pyramids, and Native Americans use sound.
Yep.
Yogis use sound. Australians use the didgeridoo. So it's powerful, right? Powerful vibration. When I experience your sessions, it's just the vibrations are blending. They're taking me into a very deep, meditative, relaxing state, and sometimes I fall asleep. But it's deep. It's a deep relaxation, and like you said, stress is one of our worst enemies, and this is totally relaxing and healing.
Right. You're right, Lori. The sound is nothing new. It has been here since the beginning of time, since man. They've been using sound in one sense or another. I believe that sound in the Aborigines, yes, shamans, all the different cultures have used sound as a mode of healing and a mode of meditation, or going deeper into a level that is where they can, for lack of a better term, lose their mind. So to lose their mind and to go deep within themselves is a form of self-healing. You're right. You mentioned Egypt. A year ago, I was in Egypt, and I had the pleasure of being in several pyramids where there were acoustic chambers within these pyramids, and they were amazing. These chambers were acoustic. They were built for a purpose, and my feeling is, whether it's for healing or the power of sound for generating something fantastic, I'm not sure, but they were acoustically built, beyond anything that modern man now could ever achieve. So, there's a lot of theories out there, whatever, but all I know is that the power and the healing power of sound has been with us for millennia, 6,000, 10,000, 20,000 years ago, who knows? But it has been here for a very, very long time.
That's true. Lori, did you have something?
Yeah, I think going back, like you said, even for thousands of centuries, we have been in fight or flight, and we need that de-stress. I mean, I think that in our natural state, our bodies know how to heal ourselves, but we're so in fight or flight all the time that we don't know how to get there. And I think that the bowls help us to start relaxing, to de-stress. I know when I've done sound healing, for me, it's like waves, like I can feel the waves of the sound, and it's pushing out that stress. And like you said, calming the mind, calming everything down, slowing everything down so that we can get in our bodies and communicate with our bodies. And some of the sound you can feel in different parts of your body. So it also helps us connect back with ourselves. Talking about the pyramids, I've also heard that too, the different chambers and different sounds. And so you use 13 different bowls. so each one has its own sound. Can you tell us kind of how that works? Why and how you use, and to me, I
Yeah.
kind of connected with the different pyramids, right? There's
Right.
different pyramids based on what you needed and what sound you needed. And is that kind of how the bowls work too?
Yeah. Yeah, Lori. So first of all, I want to, you're absolutely correct in what you were saying in regards to stress and the fight or flight. And I just want to visit that just for a very short time. So within our being, within our wavelength. So like right now, the three of us that are speaking, we're in a beta wavelength. In other words, we're thinking. We're in an analytical brain wave where that is, we're not even necessarily worried about anything or stressed out about anything, but we're thinking and we're in analytical. So that that being said, we're in a beta wavelength. If we're stressed out, then and we're in fight or flight, then all sorts of different chemicals are being released in our body. The stress hormones are being released and they're affecting us in a physical sense. We're not there, but we are in an analytical frame of mind. So that's beta. So one of the things that the bowls do in relaxing people is it helps them. And I've been meditating since I was in high school, and I in college doing transcendental meditation, and I became rather a good student at meditating. And what I've learned is that through the bowls, through the vibrations, that you can go from a beta wavelength down into an alpha, then theta, and delta, and down into the lower wave, down into the relaxed, almost sleep mode, quicker than you can any other way of meditating. There are experts in meditation, and they all have their own techniques. But what I've found is that I've had people say, "Well, I can't meditate. I don't know how to meditate," or "I can't shut off this part of my brain." And after working with them for a very short time, they realized that, oh wow, I was relaxed. Oh, I was able to shut that part of the brain down. So, anyways, I just wanted to touch on that shortly, or just briefly. So, in regards to using 13 bowls, I don't know why these 13 bowls or the number 13, and nothing is coincidental, and I didn't plan on it. It's just that they're like a family, and this is what when I do a session, I need to have um, a grouping together to create, to be open to whatever comes through, to have, it's like sitting down with a box of crayons. I mean, I can sit down with like the primary colors of, the box of 7 crayons, and, say, okay, well, I'm going to do these colors for this part of the picture. Or I can get a big old Crayola box that has all the colors available, and just in case I need that color. Well, that's kind of the way it is with me. Because again, when I sit down to do a session, I remove myself from the equation. I open myself up in the same way that anybody doing reiki. They just become the hollow bone. They become the conduit. It doesn't emanate from them. It just goes through them. And that's what I allow myself to do with the bowls. Now, the different frequencies within the bowls, there's I'm not a musician, but you have the C note, which correlates with root, the root chakra. Then you have D, which correlates with the sacral chakra. And then you have E, that correlates with the solar plexus. And then F, which correlates with the heart chakra. And then G for throat. And then you go to the A, being the third eye. And then B, being the crown chakra. And so those are the primary 7 notes. And then within the notes, you have like, I personally have like a high G, which would be, a high throat chakra, an F sharp, which would be a high heart, and then an A sharp, which would be your higher third eye. So the sharps represent the different parts in between the chakras. And then within those different 7 notes, there's octaves. So you have different octaves of different notes. Well, anytime you take 2 notes, you have this frequency and that frequency, you combine them, and what you get is a third frequency. You get something, and mathematically which is right in between the 2. Crystal singing bowls, when you play a crystal singing bowl, the vibration, so what you hear is this much. What the vibration is like infinitesimal. It's huge. The vibration is so much more than what the ear can comprehend. But when you're playing a bowl, that vibration is continued as you go on to the next bowl. So at any given time, you could have 2, 3, or 4 different bowls vibrating all at the same time, creating a sound, creating a vibration. And that's the key. The vibration is the key, because in our bodies, we have 50 trillion cells, each one of them vibrating at a frequency, each one of them vibrating at a frequency that is harmonious with for our own well-being, and it wants to be healthy. If we have harmony, then we have good health. If we have discourse or disharmony, then that could lead to ailments. And so anyways, that's, again, I as Lori Trombley knows, I do talk, and I apologize for my lengthy answers, but
no, we appreciate the lengthy answer. It helps us understand it more. Absolutely.
It's very
And I loved what you said about the cells, because that is something that when I hear the sound healing, you almost do feel like all your cells turn on, they become alive. It's really a wonderful experience. Yeah. So we love your lengthy explanations.
Thank you.
Question though, so the crystal bowls and the brass bowls. So what is the difference between the two? The different frequencies? Do you use both, or you only use crystal bowls? Like, what is the difference between the two?
Yes, thank you for the question. So doing sound, or creating a vibration that would be beneficial to somebody's being. This has morphed over a period of time. There's something called sound baths, which people go to sound baths, and they're engulfed and they're swarmed with all these different sounds. It could be anything from a didgeridoo to crystal singing bowls to rain sticks to gongs, to Tibetan bowls. There's all different types of sound, to shamanic drum it could be part of it. So within the sequence of sounds that come through, for me, what has been sort of guided into my realm has been the use of crystal singing bowls, the use of Tibetan bowls to complement each other one way or another. They're both very distinct sounds, but the Tibetan bowl has been used for thousands and thousands of years in a way of helping people to relax, helping people to meditate, and in healing people, I believe. So I incorporate them into the crystal singing bowls to complement one another. And but again, it's vibration. It's about the vibrations and the play of the vibrations off of each other. I also, when I work with people individually, I use tuning forks, which have a vibration. I use them because our physical being, as we all know, our physical being is what you see. What you don't see, and what you use currently in photography, or photography that allows people to see an aura around people. That's our energy field. That's what has been termed by Elaine McCusick as our biofield. And within that biofield, there's stuck energy a lot of times. There's stuck trauma, which I use tuning forks to help clear that trauma out, to help ourselves to release the things that get stuck in that biofield, in these rings that are in there. So vibration can be used in a lot of different ways, but the Tibetan bowl vibration, the crystal singing bowl vibration, they're both beautiful, they're both harmonious, and when used properly, allow people to just relax and help the body to respond to a harmonious being. And that's what it wants. All of our bodies want to be healthy. We want to be healthy, and it's just a matter of letting go of some of the stressors around us.
That's interesting. I've been at some of your sessions where even sometimes before you start, the bowls are vibrating a little bit, and it's very interesting.
Yeah.
And also, I know that my husband has a recording studio in our home, and we were going to work with Gary to see if we can record the bowls, and we couldn't do it because the vibration it wasn't recordable. Basically, you could hear the sound, but then you can explain what happened, Gary.
Yeah, that was a lot of fun. That was a lot of fun with your husband, Len. And somebody had tried to record me before, and it doesn't come out. And now, I'm not to say that you cannot record a single crystal singing bowl, but when you combine the different octaves and the different frequencies, it just doesn't come out right. It just is not a true sound of what you get in a acoustic presence of the bowls.
Right.
And I emphasize acoustic because I think also when you put them through a microphone that it alters the sound also. so and again, I'm to say, if you have one bowl and you're playing that one bowl, you can record that. When you combine multiple bowls, I think it takes on a whole nother character, which is impossible, I believe, with the technology that I've seen so far, to record what comes out in a true sense. I wish it could. That was my goal, was to be able to have something that people could have to plug into and help themselves without being at a session per se. So
It's such a sound symphony. It's just so beautiful, ethereal, and it just takes you somewhere when I'm at a session with the bowls. It's just incredible.
thank you.
Thank you for what you're doing. Yeah.
Well, thank you. And I'm encouraged to see more and more people doing this. My thing is with everything. I know why I'm here. We have different characters within us, and both of you, I know this is who you are. We either have service to ourselves or service to others as part of our character. And my feeling is that I want to see more and more people exposed to anything that can benefit their being, whether it's Reiki, good nutrition, exercise, sound healing, whatever it is. I want to see more and more people being able to be exposed to it. And so for me, when I see more people doing this, as I said, when I started, it was it was very unique. And now it's, I've worked with people that now they're doing it in their yoga studios in Manchester and down in Massachusetts. And it seems like a lot of yoga studios are looking for sound healers or people that are working with sound to come in and do sound bath sessions for their clientele, which is beautiful because it is. It's just like yoga. It's a beautiful way to do self-care, to promote self-care.
Yeah, I live in southern New Hampshire, down in Hampstead, and I'm watching it grow around here. It's
Oh, yeah.
becoming more and more.
Yeah.
And yeah, I highly recommend that everyone should experience
Yeah.
it. It really is wonderful.
It's beautiful. It is. It's a beautiful thing. And I'm fortunate enough that I have a yoga studio that works with me, Yoga for Life in Wolfboro here, that the owner Pam has allowed me to do sound session. When COVID hit, I stopped doing the small groups in my house, and everybody was quarantined. I hate to use that word, but everybody was cloistered and not coming out. And so when COVID started breaking up a little bit, Yoga for Life in Wolfboro here opened up, and were opened their doors. And I asked the owner if she would allow me to do it. And so for 2.5, going on 3 years, I've been doing sessions at that yoga studio. I also do sessions at a studio in a little bit south of here in Alton, and the yoga studio up in Moultonboro, a little bit farther north. So this is something that I truly believe in. I'm a scientist, okay? I'm a pharmacist. I think outside the box, but I'm a scientist by nature. But I'm also a person who believes in good health. I believe in the powers of people healing themselves. But I wouldn't be doing this. I would not be involved with anything that I didn't truly believe would be beneficial to the people out there. So this is a good thing that more and more people are doing it. And I said, I was saying 6 years ago, I was saying definitely 5 years ago, that this will be mainstream. And again, time has passed, but I said then, 10 years from now, sound healing or sound therapy will be a modality that is so commonplace that it'll remove any question as to its authenticity or its value.
Amen.
Yes. So needed.
I think the more that we start to, like you said, believe that we can heal from within, that we take responsibility for our healing, and we believe that it's possible, then we will get there. And I do believe we're going to get there. I think more and more people are coming online that when they experience the sound healing for themselves and they know what it does for themselves, they become true believers. And like you said in the beginning, like instead of paperwork and proving it, when you've experienced it for yourself and you can feel it for yourself, it doesn't matter what the paperwork says. You know how it made you feel and what it did for you. And the more and more we get people to experience that, the more mainstream it's going to be, the more healthier we're all going to be.
Right. Stress, and this is the thing for people to realize over and over and over again, I can't emphasize it enough. Stress, anxiety, tension, all the distractions that are going on in the media and around the world, all these things just attack our being if we allow it to. If that's the key word, if we allow it to. If we can somehow block it out, if we can go within and allow ourselves to be in a state of homeostasis, a state of well-being within ourselves, then we can stay healthier. It isn't going to cure the problems around the world, but it can keep us healthy. And that's what's important. Our own health is the most important thing, because if we're not healthy for ourselves, then how can we help anybody else? So in doing the self-work and allowing ourselves to be relaxed and in allowing ourselves to escape the stressors of the and distractions that are going on around us, we you know we are truly helping ourselves and anybody that is in our world. So it's a good
So
thing.
true. Thank you for sharing that. It's so true. So do you have anything else you'd like to add, Gary or Lori?
I would just like to add, thank you very, very much for talking with us, and that I think everybody should reach out to people in your area. If you want to travel up to see Gary, that would be great too. But find somebody in your area, experience sound healing. Yeah, you'll definitely be happy you did.
And that's the thing, people, when I first started doing it, people wanted to have me say different things, and personally, my feeling is I let the bowls and I let the sound speak for themselves. I would like to think that anybody at the very least will leave the session more relaxed than when they came. If there's no other, there's if you googled crystal singing bowl therapy or crystal singing bowl benefits, if you just Google it, you'll see all sorts of claims out there, from reducing stress to alleviating stomach issues to all these different claims. And it isn't about making the claims. It's about just relaxing and allowing yourself to be healthier through the vibrations and coming out as a better physical. Again, it's all about the mind, body, and spirit. We're not just body. We're not just mind. We're not just spirit. We are spiritual beings with a physical manifestation, and it's about the entire complex. And sound, to me, it transcends all three of those. It goes into everything. I see veils thin in the spiritual sense. I see minds calm, and I see bodies feel better afterwards. So it really transcends all three areas of our physical, mental, spiritual being.
I agree.
Yeah, in my practice, I say the same thing. We don't heal on one level. We have to heal on all three. It's affected by all three. I mean, you can heal a part, but when you want to heal the whole, you have to do it on all three levels. And the same thing in my Reiki practice, and when the first session comes in, if I can get you to relax that nervous system and maybe hopefully even sleep better that night, I'm happy. I've achieved something. You've achieved something. You're closer to your body, knowing and remembering how to heal itself. And that's an accomplishment.
I don't know how much time you have, and I'm really bad with time. Lori will tell you that.
We're good.
But I wanted to add one thing, and this is something that a friend of mine actually sent me just recently. She was traveling in South America, and she had an occasion to be in a health facility down there, and what she experienced was this person had a diagnosis. The patient had a diagnosis, and the physician, and this is a medical professional physician, came into the room, and after they had given the diagnosis, after they had told the person what they were dealing with on a physical plane, they stayed with the patient, and the physician actually took out a Tibetan bowl and was playing the Tibetan bowl, just making sound and helping the person to relax. In our country, one of the things, and I don't want to go, because we have a fantastic medical system, but there are things that could be improved, and one of them is being there for the patient in a way to help them relax. they're given a terrible diagnosis. They're told what their lab values are. They're told what all these diagnostic tests have shown. But, and then they say, okay, we're going to do this and that to help you get better. We're going to give you this drug, and we're going to, help you get through this way. But where are we helping the patient relax? Where are we helping the patient get into a mindset where they're not in that fight or flight response? And yet other cultures around the world, this is part of the modalities of healthcare, is to help the patient relax and help the patient help themselves by doing so.
Yeah, I think if we can get both sides to see the value, the metaphysical, to see the value in our modern day medicine, and them to see the value in us, that we can together help a person get through whatever medical issue they're going through as a whole. We talked about all 3 levels. If we could combine the 2, we could help a person as a whole. But we both sides have to start valuing each other and working together. And my whole goal, my hope is that someday we get there, and that we can start helping people as a whole on both sides, and that we start working together. And that starts with both sides valuing each other.
Yeah, that's great. I had this crazy thought just came in. Wouldn't it be great, when somebody goes to the physician, they get this diagnosis, they get this, this symptom that they have, and the doctor wants to help them alleviate it. And so they write out the prescription for the different drugs, and then, they write out a prescription for a singing bowl, okay. And I want you to pick up the singing bowl at your drugstore, at your pharmacy, and then take that back, and you can, and just help yourself, by listening to these calming tones and frequencies to help with your symptoms.
Yes, yes, yes.
Wouldn't that be great?
Right. Fantastic.
Well, thank you very much for allowing me to be part of your presentation and asking me to be here and asking me the questions that you did. And each of you in your own practices, I wish you well and much success in helping other people. So much of today is about extending that helping hand in a way that crosses those barriers. If anybody did want to reach out to me, I am on Facebook, social media that way. They can reach out to me, and it's Gary Simons, and it's with 2 R's, Garry, then Simons. And you should be able to find me on social media. You can ask me any questions. I'm very open with anything, and hopefully this opens people's minds a little bit more to the aspect of vibrational sound healing and therapy.
Gary, thank you so much it was an honor to have you and a privilege to have you with us today. You shared a lot of great information, and I hope people do reach out and try to find their own healing sessions. Hopefully they can have one with you.
Oh, well, I'm around.
Yeah.
We'll put his name and information down in the comments so you can find him easily. And I just too want to thank you for a great conversation. This was a wonderful conversation today, one I'm very excited in having, and very, very much appreciate. There's a method and a modality out there for everybody, and we hope to share more of different modalities so that you can find yours or multiple ones. So thank you for joining us, and we look forward to our next wonderful conversation in the next episode. Thank you.
Thank you.